All right, welcome Aquarius. I'm going to ask for a message from Spirit for Aquarius. And the first thing I'm going to ask is, what is the energy, the main energy around you right now? Does Spirit want you to know about the main energy around you right now? Into, please. Okay, there's actually 3 coming out. Wow. Well, you're surrounded by the Holy Spirit. Now, I know that some of you are going to think that I'm a little cuckoo when I say this, but without going into a long dissertation on why I believe this, I believe that when a human being is in its mother's womb, we all know that we can hear a heartbeat at around 5 weeks. Why is that baby, while the mother's pregnant, alive? Well, because that child is drawing from the Christ energy of the mother. Now, when a baby is born, I believe that the baby, for about 15 seconds, is literally dead. Because once the baby is separated from the mother's body, we do know statistically that the heart rate starts to go down. And as we all know, we see in movies that, slapping the baby and sticking these things down the baby's throat, thinking that that's what makes the baby breathe. We do know that the first breath, the very first breath of a newborn baby, the lungs are expanded to the greatest degree compared to every other breath. That breath, that first breath, is taken because the Holy Spirit, the Christ energy, has entered the baby's body. The disc has been dropped by the stork or the dove into the cup, the body. That's baptism. How do you know that you're not, that you are part of God? Are you breathing? Because the only reason why a child can take its first breath is because the Holy Spirit has entered the child's body. Now, let me tell you something interesting about storks. In ancient, really it's Slavic mythology, there was a belief, and there still is a belief, that storks are able to carry unborn souls from heaven into earth, which is exactly what I just described. We also know that for some reason, there is an enormous number of ancient vases with storks on them. And I've been studying this for a while, and I think we're missing some historical records. Storks are very, very spiritually significant. They are just incredible birds. If you ask an expert in science, they will tell you that at a minimum they go back about 43 million years. And I don't think that any species of stork is known to have gone extinct. They are just incredible birds. Now, so we've got, and the other thing, by the way, the Hebrew word for stork, I've got to look it up because I'm almost positive that it's related to this word kindness. Yeah, in Hebrew, the word for stork is kasida, and what it means is the kind bird. Now, how do we wrap this all together? Because here, this card has to do with the Holy Trinity. Now, so we've got the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Let's not even try to tackle that one. Let's just say that what's surrounding you is all things spiritual. Now look at that word liberation. That word liberation. I mean, I feel that it's related to your soul, the essence of you. It's definitely not contained to your body. Just look at this. You know, it's sort of you are well aware that you're not just your body. You know, and this may mean also that, you know, when your soul can easily, and I don't think I can do this at all actually, but when you are very aware, when you're not identifying with your physical location or your body, you know, heavily, I believe anyway that it's very easy to transit, you know, into other realms. So anyway, let's just keep going. So I think that, and that veil, by the way, and the color of the veil is the color of sort of mauvey color of the crown chakra, meaning that, you know, you're very open and receptive. In fact, you may be sort of protecting your energy by having that veil over there. So it's, you know, when you have body, mind, spirit, you know, heart, nerve, and sinew, whatever we like to call it, when they're all aligned, you know, you have this feeling of freedom, you know. All right, so let's keep going. It really is incredible, by the way. There are one or two videos that I found on the internet of newborn babies taking their first breath, and it is very eminently clear if you can get a good video where you can actually see the baby taking the first breath. It's just, you can almost see their eyes, you know, you can literally see something, you know, entering into their body. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, all right, now, anything else about what we're going to see in this reading, please, Spirit? Destiny. Follow your instincts. They lead to the truth. And speaking, that also has to do with the third eyes, and that's something. You wouldn't think that your instincts, you know, are related to intuition, but your instincts. The other thing about storks is that they have these incredibly cool migratory patterns, and they can alter them to make adjustments and things like that. But how is it, you know, the instinct, they're just born with this knowing. Anyway, so instinct, you know, I feel like it's related to intuition, but it's more of a knowing, you know, without having to think. You just know it's kind of coming from the gut, you know, sort of like the solar plexus area. Anyway, it might be different for each of us or each of you. All right, if that didn't resonate with you, don't worry. Sometimes these cards that come out at the beginning of the reading are just sort of like a side note. Sometimes they're related to the reading, sometimes they're not, and sometimes I miss that they are related to the reading until after I watch the reading, after it's been posted. And then I think to myself, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't mention it. Anyway. All right, so, Spirit, what do we have for Aquarius? What do we have for Aquarius? What do we have for Aquarius? Do we have for Aquarius? In 2 and 2, what do we have for Aquarius, please? 1 and 2. All right, in 2. All right, here we go, guys. One more. What do we have for Aquarius, please? Okay. Okay, right here. Wow. So we have Venus in Scorpio. Just going to adjust this up. We have Venus in Scorpio, the Seven of Cups, and we have the Hermit, which is a major arcana card of Virgo. Sometimes I look at that and think that it's God or Spirit. So I believe what is happening with you is something incredible. I believe that both of these cards represent you. Over here is perhaps Source, or it could be one of your guides, but this is something that you are a part of. What you are discovering and focusing on, I think, is the original meaning of the Seven of Cups. And I don't think we've ever spoken about this because I'm not sure that I've ever seen this split before. What this person is doing is they are seeing the truth. This is a truth seeker. Sometimes it's Spirit, God. It's somebody who is actually seeing the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. And it's real wisdom. This can't be taught. This is something that I just saw 1313 a moment ago. It's something that you're learning. Notice how the Hermit's eyes, they're not open, they're closed. This is real knowledge. It's wisdom from within. And I believe these are photons, which I believe are what you're figuring out here is how everything works. What you're looking at here are the seven, you're looking at two things, the seven cool synthesis, let's just call it 7 processes. Sometimes they call it the 7 stages of alchemy or the 7 alchemical processes, but let's just talk about what it really is. When we think about how everything operates in this beautiful, what was made to be a beautiful physical 3D world, we've somehow figured out that there are basic elements, there are basic building blocks. And then we realized, my goodness, this is really cool. Everything, animal, vegetable, mineral, spirit, everything on this earth can be boiled down to basic building blocks. And when you get right down to it, there are basic elements that in the very pure form. Hydrogen, carbon, and these things, these elements are made up of atoms. And the only thing that makes element number 29 different from element number 28 are the number of protons in their nucleus. Everything else is the same. Now, so how the heck does that work? Well, here's how it works. The number of protons, why does that make one element different from another? It's all about vibration and chemical bonds, how things bond to each other. And so what does that mean? Well, in this world, the way that everything was designed by the Creator for us, had we just stuck to these natural processes of, distillation, calcification, coagulation, these are cool things that happen with elements, burning things, evaporation, purification, all of these 7 stages here. When you look at things and how things react in a material sense, it's like little synthesis, but they work because of the types of bonds that exist. Some of them are magnetic, some of them are electric. It's really incredible. We're still learning about it now, but it all has to do with the vibrations. Apparently the number of protons in the nucleus alter the way it vibrates, and therefore makes the bonds different. And that's what makes these hydrogen different from gold, even though, believe it or not, hydrogen and gold are made up of the same components. Isn't that crazy? Gold is element number 79, so it has 79 somewhere around there anyway. So it's just incredible when you realize that the vibration, of what's going on around the electron field around the nucleus, how it alters one material from another. But the other thing that you're realizing here, the 7 stages of alchemy, what we just spoke about, they're also a metaphor for 7 stages that we go through when we are really becoming our true selves. So, for example, in one of these cups represents an illusion and an earthly attachment. Wealth, for example, the idea that we must, if our happiness or our security is based on material things, if we think that it's important, that material things define us, our level of security, that actually is an illusion, because material things, these things aren't real. They're at a level of vibration. They were the source of these material things is important. And what you're realizing here is you are the source. You are the loving energy. You know now where these things come from. You've seen miracles. You know that miracles are natural. So somehow, or maybe you've gone through a lot of painful processes where you've lost everything, and you realized, heck, I'm happy, or it just turned, it somehow led into another beautiful, abundant direction. The wonderful thing about, although, it can be very painful, the wonderful thing, for example, about losing the love of your life, the one person that was important to you, that was the only reason why you were living, and you lose the one person that is the most important to you. After that, if you can live through that, you just don't fear anything. That's why a lot of people, for example, who've lost a child, they're they're wonderful people to get advice from, because they have been through hell and back, and they have become very unshakable. They have lost a child and survived it. So don't think that you can knock that person down. They don't care about, it's not they don't care about like that. It's pretty, they're thinking, listen, lose a little money. I lost my child, you think that's going to upset me? Go to hell. You don't know what loss is, buddy. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but what's incredible about going through hardship, pain, heartbreak, sorrow, loss, losing your reputation, losing everything, is that you realize, I'm still okay. And not only that, it's liberating. There is nothing else to lose, literally. Go ahead, make my day. You become more courageous, you become fearless, and you really can actually start doing what you really want, and you realize who you really are. And that's the seventh process. I won't go through all these, these stages, but the seventh process is where everything comes together, and you've realized the mind, body, soul, everything is kind of put back together and aligned, and there's this incredible freedom. You no longer identify yourself to how you look. You might, you don't go around deliberately looking like a slob, but you have this incredible total confidence that nothing can shake your confidence when you really know who you are. And you actually find yourself empathizing and feeling a little bit sorry for people who, you look around and, there are people who are going around getting all this plastic surgery, and you see the fear that they're scared, and deep down, they're very, very vulnerable. And you realize, my God, thank God I'm not scared like that anymore. So I think that this is what's happening right now. It's all coming together. And this, I believe, this may be, I know I'm really, really sounding wacko today. I know this, but I'm just going to say this. This may be a spiritual guide, or your original family. This could be where you're from. That could be someone that is about to make contact with you. Because what I've been getting lately in my downloads, you will be receiving contact soon. There's a real... I am so concerned that they may be hurt. And you know who I'm talking about, the Galactics. I just, that they want you to know that absolutely no human being will be hurt. They will give up their life before a human being is hurt. So you're going to be frustrated because, of course, all the ruling powers are going to try to make everyone think that there's an alien invasion and they are to be feared. They are the most advanced, unconditionally loving, powerful. It's absolutely, it'll make your heart swell, in their presence. So I believe that for many of you, if you're still listening to this reading right now, I believe that you are about to make contact. It's going to be on a personal, actual, physical. You're going to see them. They are not going to look like you. Okay, their bodies won't be like yours. It's confirmation right there. Show me a little bit more, please. Wow. That's how I feel. When I said that I'm really, I'm worried about them. That's how I feel. But anyway, this is not what this is here. It's not what this is. This is how they're feeling. This is incredible. There's so much feeling here. Have a look at the hue around you there. That's beautiful, empathetic emotion there. Amazing. All right, I believe we need to talk about the fifth stage. You may be feeling very down. And if you are, or you're feeling a little depressed, this is really fascinating. You're very much on your path if you are, believe it or not, and I'm going to explain to you why. I was Zooming last night with, I don't think he'll mind if I mention his first name, Freddie. He's an incredible guy. And one of the things that he said was that he said, I don't listen to the same music that I did before. And this guy is a dancer. He's extremely artistic, very talented. And he was noticing these pretty huge changes, and it's the challenges that he has faced are just incredible. If you saw his birth chart, you would be pretty impressed. I was too, but he's just an incredibly deep, empathetic. It's like you want to sink into, very, 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 very deep, very open, very spiritual, very emotional, and very open, to, I happen to mention a few things that happened in my life, and normally I'm so used to talking to people who, they don't seem to think that it's, and it was really, I had to get used to him saying, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's just really good to talk to people who care, who can empathize. But what's happening here, I think, in the fifth stage, it's a pretty advanced stage. So what's happening here is it's almost like you're saying goodbye to your old self, and it's sad. It can be very, very sad. The thing is, though, there's this. It's like this is like a death. It's like an actual death, except you're not dying. The old self, the old self is dying and making. It's like, this stage is sort of like the rebirth, of the phoenix from its own ashes, So what happens after this is there is a really more refined, authentic self, but it can be scary. It can be, it's, for example, this could be somebody who's, they're not, they have to say goodbye to a profession, or maybe this is someone who was an athlete who has lost a leg, or, someone who was in a terrible snowboarding accident, and got paralyzed. It's somebody has to say goodbye to the old self. But the thing about this is, for whatever reason, something may have happened. Maybe it's just a natural spiritual ascension. But there's a sadness. And it can be scary because, sometimes we have these attachments. Well, who am I if I'm not, a dancer? Who am I if I'm not, a football player? Who am I, if I'm not a famous pianist and I can't play piano anymore? That type of thing, So this, you could be feeling some kind of sorrow here. But I think that one of the downloads that I got the other day, and it was sort of kind of like a little friendly reprimand, that because I made a boo-boo, and I one of the things that I've been saying that I really need to clarify is that it doesn't mean it's not. It's sort of misleading to say, well, if you're at complete and total peace and in a state of equanimity, it means you're at the highest state of spiritual advancement. Well, the reprimand that I got was that, boy, they really weren't happy that I had said that, because this is really important. This is really advanced work. And the point that they were making is that the chosen ones are often in a lot of pain. So I'm glad that this card came up, because I am to tell you that this means you're actually right in the thick of doing heavy duty spiritual work. So, all right. So, and this is not, by the way, I was going to add something here. I do realize it's a 5. But it's not the 5 of Wands. It's not the 5 of Swords. Okay, it's not the 5 of Pentacles where there's no hope. The 5 of Cups is, to me, that is sorrow, deep sorrow. And I do not feel that, this energy here, this is between this person and themselves, or between them and God. What's going on here is they are advancing, they are flushing out. Well, it's actually called putrefaction, okay? You're really, you're really getting out, saying goodbye to the old self, okay? And there is don't rush it. A lot of people say here, oh, turn around. No, just as long as you need to stand there and get out all the tears, that's fine. Scientists will tell you that if they have tested tears that come from people's eyes when they're crying in sorrow against tears that will come from your eyes when you're simply walking in the wind, and guess what? The chemical composition is completely different. This person, there are toxins in the tears, and that's good. That means crying, like toxins are, the body is cleansing itself. Out with the toxins. That's why we sweat. That's why, by the way, nobody should be using deodorant is fine, but that something that stops you from sweating, you're really asking for trouble there. That's interfering with the bodily process. I'm turning into a nagging nanny here. So you could be at the 5th stage here. All right. So do not be alarmed or think that you're slow in the process. This is actually, I was really reprimanded for not making it clear to you that you're doing the work. You're right in the thick of it here. Okay? Now, let's keep going. Show me a little bit more for Aquarius, please. Really, really cool reading, guys. Okay, there's 3 trying to come out. There we go. Wow. Wow. Wowzers. This is so neat. And look at this. It's almost like, so you're sailing, into calmer waters. You literally may be. And look, this could be your former self there, concealed, and here's a ferryman, shoving, pushing the boat off from the shore of the 5 of Swords, going into this calmer, taking the worries off the mind. And there could be a little bit of a longing, here. This may have been This over here is the Two of Wands. There's a choice being made here. There is a choice being made. It's a very serious choice. What you may be doing here, you may be giving up land, giving up money, forfeiting something, You may be, I'm looking at this and thinking about myself, where being ousted from a self-governing body, from a snobby society. Boy, am I glad that I was ousted. Those people were assholes. Excuse my language. Sorry, Spirit. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this symbol here, this is a society. Now, this is the rose and cross. So, I just got to figure out which one was associated with the monarch. Hang on now. Because, anyway, what I believe here is, let's just say that this is a society, it's a snobby one. Because this person has a lot of money. They have these ceremonies that they conduct. When they announce, this is my land. This is a powerful person with a lot of money, And it's a society, and they have rules, and they can oust people. So, maybe, that this is kind of, what happened to me. But except that when this was happening to me, I was really happy to say, hasta la vista, baby. Couldn't get out of there quickly enough. But maybe 7 or 8 years ago, my old self, I thought, well, who am I if I'm not a member of this snobby society? I'm serious. And now I don't want to be associated with them at all. At all. Knowing the way that they operate. Anyway. But so, it could be something like that. Maybe, there's just sort of there's just something, and it's okay, to say goodbye, to think, oh, well, maybe this is, you could be looking back at, something that it is pretty major what's happening here. It is, this could be somebody who you could be, you could literally be leaving, hitting the road. You don't want anyone to know where you're going. You just want, but it's clearly, notice what you're pushing away from, though. Same thing that I was pushing away from. Lower vibrational energy. That's the shore of the Five of Swords, That's the shore of the Five of Swords. So, in that there's unethical behavior. Let me just give you an example of how unethical my governing body was. And they think they're so upright. They used to force us to go to these silly seminars where we would learn things that are outside of our practice. And so I'm sitting in this seminar, and Revenue Canada, they had a lawyer who was coming down to give a lecture on how to save your clients money. And the first thing she said was, "Is anyone here from Revenue Canada?" And there was silence. And you know what she then said? "Good." Because, of course, and then everyone laughed except for me. Because, of course, these people are going to cheat. They're going to help their clients cheat on their taxes. And that's why I was pretty, that's just one small example of what these assholes, excuse my language, were like. Anyway, So whatever this is, this could be a family, could be a group of people, what have you. But you're pushing off from the shore of the Five of Swords where there's cheating, winning at all costs, reputation is everything, gotta look good, gotta come out the winner. You get all you care about is what other people think of you. You know, unethical people. You're pushing away from them. You know, they cost you, and you're going into this peaceful realm. Let these lower vibrational people stay back here. Maybe this is them missing you. Anyway, surely you'll find out it very soon. It doesn't take very long. Once you've done with this process, it doesn't. Yeah, look, you're definitely doing this. Wow. I'll tell you why this needs to be done. The Ten of Swords. Do you know what that is? The Ten of Swords is the end of illusions. In other words, this person who is going through a ceremony, okay, there's a formal ceremony. They're going to claim some land and say, this is my land. I own this land. This person has a lot of money, by the way. They're part of a society. This is a very materialistic person. Money is everything to this person. Business, money, land, what you own, This is the Ten of Swords. So this is the end of illusions, the end of a toxic cycle. All tens are cards of completion, So, and for all we know, this could have been a situation where these people stabbed you in the back. Carefully put these 10 swords in your back. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, let's keep going. Show me a little bit more, please. So that tells me that you have definitely, that is a stage that you have completed. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Look what's under here, the world. Wow. Wow. Do you see the power? The power. Look at the horn of the esoteric. Look at this. So judgment, put quite simply here, and of course the world it's the last card in the major arcana. Judgment is the second last card, and the world is the last card in the major arcana. Now, put quite simply, those people, let's just pretend that was a secret society and, they have rules and all they care about is status and money and power and all that kind of stuff. When those people get physically sick, when they're given a terminal diagnosis, they're going to die. They're going to die because they are absolutely, totally, there is a complete, depletion. They are absolutely devoid of anything spiritual. So they have no real, they don't know where the source of things come from. But once you reach this stage of ascension, a simple prayer, the power of spirit can resurrect someone from their grave, and that is the truth. It's priceless. You can't buy it. You can't do a quick course in it. You have to go through all those 7 stages that you've suffered through. Look at the power that it gave you. So while it may have been a very painful process, you almost died, literally stabbed in the back, betrayed, somebody ruined. That's called the Lord of, somebody really tried to ruin something for you. But now, of course, you've learned that there's the infinity sign. You now have learned the processes of involution and evolution, at birth and death, rebirth. And look at this beautiful, absolute euphoric feeling that you have here. Now, I believe that you are going to be having contact from your family, whatever part of your family, wherever you're coming from. So just get ready for it. The other thing is that there may be, for those of you that are not familiar with the 3 days of darkness, it is nothing to be afraid of. The only thing that I want to recommend is it'll just last for 3 days. There will be a cessation of the rotation on our axis. Everyone else is going to be freaking out, but you're not. I do not want you guys to go outside during those 3 days. I can't tell you when it is, but it is all, everything is under control. And the Galactics have everything set up. It is to realign, has something to do with the poles and the magnetic and the Ascension and the reshaping. The world is going to look different after that. The only thing is you want to stay in your house or apartment during those 3 days, and I'll tell you why. You may, for a very short period of time, feel some paralysis, literally. So do not freak out if that happens. It will go away. But the thing is, the reason why you don't want to go outside is because you don't want to get stuck somewhere at the grocery store or walking down the street and experience the paralysis. You want to stay inside. And your pet, if you have a cat or a dog, that the pet may experience the paralysis as well. So just make sure you have lots of water. Lots of bottled water, and don't worry about food. They said that you can tolerate 3 days without eating. Just make sure you've got water, and there will be something very beautiful that you're going to notice at the end of those 3 days. So there are beautiful, wonderful things coming up. You want to really focus on your whatever it is you're doing. Everyone's doing something different. Freddie and I we may invite some people to do a sound meditation. We're going to work on that. What I'm trying to do is schedule a live so that we can all just do some kind of meditation that you guys like to do. But on your own, just go with the flow. Do whatever you feel is necessary. Journal, and get your hands on as many books as you can. Whatever you feel needs to be, whatever thirst you have that needs to be quenched, just go with the flow. Because this knowledge, what I find is that finding that knowledge, you really have to, for every person, the knowledge, you have to arrive at it on your own. And that's the only way to get these truths. There's confirmation right there. Let's get one last final piece of advice from Spirit. Finally, what else would you like Aquarius to know, please? Okay, what's this? Okay, we've got two, I think. Oh, no, one. Oh, Aquarius, you are a beautiful and sensitive soul. Love's objective is to help you remember who you truly are. An eternal being of light on a path to ever greater love. And if that doesn't go right along, I want to read, I'm sorry, I want to read one more on the bottom of the deck because it goes right along with it. You are who you are because of your history. All of it has helped you grow in love and wisdom. Every experience has blessed you in some way. Embrace the past and forgive anything that needs forgiving. And I just want to make a note there. Spirit says, when Spirit says embrace the past, it doesn't mean that you have to love it. Just say, own it. This is my unique story. Look what I've been through. That's mine. I got that. Okay. And when I say forgive anything that needs forgiving, remember to include yourself. Go easy on yourself. Give yourself some empathy. Okay? The same way that you would feel empathy toward a real cute little puppy on the street. Give yourself the same love and empathy. I love you so much, guys. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think.